Self-birth and self-destruction is Harry's instinct. Stop blaming everything. Hello friends, welcome to the breaking news of notorious royal villains Harry and Meghan on our Kate Middleton and the Queen News version 2 channel. Without a doubt, Harry is destroying himself. Now, how much Meghan should be blamed is questionable, and I say this as no fan of Meghan's. See, we each have our own way of existing in this world. We have our patterns and we have our set ways of being, and we can be recognized by our standard of conduct and how we treat other people. So our integrity is basically comprised of our words versus our deeds. And when you look at how Meghan exists in this world, it would seem like Harry took a couple of plays out of her book and then went on some kind of self-designated tangent that has everything to do with him believing that honesty about yourself does require destroying your family in the process. And Meghan Markle doesn't talk about her family, which says a lot about who she is as a person. We have that letter that she wrote, and we have her family doing interviews. But other than some old blog entries on her lifestyle blog, we don't have a lot of first-hand information, except that she pretty much ditched her whole family. After she disowned the family, she didn't respond to their interviews, and she also will not provide her take on their relationships. I guess it is pretty clever of her because she understands this is a no-win situation. No matter what happened after she met Harry, got engaged to him, and married him, bad-mouthing her father all over the media is just going to make her look bad, and we know that Meghan is very image-conscious. If we look back to just 5 years ago, we can see that it would not have been possible to pay Harry enough money to talk bad about his father, brother, or mother in depth to the media the way that he does now. So somewhere among all of this woke training that he's gotten from Meghan, somebody forgot to tell him that you can be truthful and you can use your mental health problems to help other people, without also denigrating a man and a family that haven't been perfect, but they've been a lot better than many people in this world have. They provided the wealth and the privilege that Harry just uses to keep his wife and his children if they're real. So the money that he inherited from his mother was money that came from a divorce settlement with his father. Legally, of course, it was his mother's money, but that money did come from his father originally. Somebody forgot to mention to Harry that while the media do own a part in being intrusive towards his mother, it actually was not the media responsible for her death. She chose to get into a car with a drunk driver who was driving at a very high speed, and Diana sadly did not think to put on her seatbelt. No photographer ever went to prison for his mother's accident because it would have been pretty much impossible to convict anybody when that driver was drunk and she was not wearing her seatbelt. Somebody really needs to break the news to Harry that his mother dating somebody who wasn't white and his marrying somebody who was not white doesn't actually have anything to do with one another. I think somebody also needs to inform Harry that what he's going around doing just shows that therapy has failed him. If therapy were successful with Harry, there wouldn't be any need to stick it to his family so publicly. This is a man who's had over 2 decades to sort out his mother's tragic death. I mean, he's had a long time also to hash out any grievances he may have had with his father. But he didn't do that, no. Instead, he decided to do something else at the encouragement of Meghan. He brought everything up, but instead of really dealing with the people involved, he just roasts them and he rewrites the narrative about the death of his mother. His actions now do not look like the actions coming from a man who just wants to help other people by talking about his struggles. He could have easily shared his struggles without sharing the criticism and the private family struggles. He's just used that platform to humiliate his father and the whole family. Now, people who really have a lot of kindness and altruism in their hearts as their motivations don't publicly humiliate the people they're supposed to love. It's finally time to stop pointing the finger at Meghan for everything that he's done. Now, she may not be that smart, but it doesn't really require a lot of intelligence to understand that throwing your family under the bus over things that are subjective and ancient history is not very intelligent. Harry is a grown man, and he can make choices on his own. Now, while I firmly believe that his wife did put him on this path, still, we've got to give him some credit too. He's a man in his late 30s, and at least his balls are big enough to make some babies. Harry is responsible for his own self-destruction, and Meghan does get the credit for a portion of it, but still, the majority of Harry's foolishness lies solely on his shoulders. See, somebody who does things like Harry's been doing lately is not an example of therapy being beneficial. One day, he's going to have to try to put all of this right, but I'm afraid he's never going to enjoy the trust of his father or brother ever again. And he's got to own up to that, and he needs to explain to his children clearly when they blame him for destroying their wider family for the great cause of what? Saving the world's mental health? Really? They're not going to believe that any more than we do. Harry has a wonderfully amazing platform that he could use to do so much good, but what does he use it for? He's just used it to humiliate, to cause pain, which makes it particularly appalling that he has become a leader when it comes to mental health. He's got zero qualifications, and he also wants to cause harm to other people. He is not trying to uplift people and inspire people. I also think that Meghan didn't really have anything to gain in criticizing her family. If she thought there was some benefit to her, then she absolutely would have. But ultimately, it is Harry who is solely responsible for his own behavior. He is being manipulated by Meghan, that's for sure, but I'm not convinced yet that he's been totally brainwashed. Even if she convinced him that his family was evil, I still don't see how it's necessary for Harry to attack so viciously. I think he does that just to make Meghan happy, and also he thinks it'll earn him some money and popularity because the truth is, he has nothing else to offer. And that says a lot about who he is as a person. He's going to betray those closest to him if it can benefit him in some way. Many people out there do blame Meghan for manipulating Harry's self-destruction. So I pose a question to you all. So do you think that somebody who blames Harry for all of this is going to feel some resentment that he chose Meghan over the royal family? So an outspoken royal audience commented, "I do blame his wife because she must see how badly he is turning out. He's not calmed down and his behavior is worse than ever. What's his wife doing about it to help him? In my view, absolutely nothing." This commenter goes on to say, "She, in my opinion, adds more fuel to the fire by making him more and more entrenched with his mental health. She's a wicked witch, and he can't escape from her evil powers. He obviously is calling some of his own shots. His wife is a bit smarter and would have, if she controlled him in totality, told him to never call the First Amendment bonkers." This commenter goes on to say, "Even she knows it would be social suicide and it gained him a whole new league of haters. Also, he is a grown man, and while I totally believe she is an influence and a bad one, he has to own his garbage. How is the wider public in America reacting to this? Do they really believe what he is saying? If I was in charge of one of the companies that the duo is involved with, I'd distance myself from them pretty quickly. They are dangerous, not even laughable now." Now, most people do agree that Meghan was the one who got him on this path of throwing his family under the bus, but I also think she's very instrumental in it continuing. Now, a loving spouse, a loving partner should always encourage their partner to remain close to the family and just continue to nurture those relationships. That way, their partner can enjoy a fulfilling life from all sides. But from the looks of things, it seems like Meghan just wants to keep him all to herself. She doesn't want to risk any chance that he might wake up and understand just how messed up his life has become since he met her. So what better way to make sure that he remains alienated from his whole family than to engage in a continued effort of putting down his family, playing the victim of the family, and also convincing Harry that he's also a victim of his own family. Now, I'll hand it to her. Meghan does seem very experienced in this kind of behavior, considering her frequent disposal of family, friends, and intimate relationships. And all the while, she tries to portray herself as the victim of these people. Before Harry met Meghan, he only ever had nice, loving things to say when he was discussing his family in interviews, if he talked about them at all. So I think it's safe to assume that his relationship with Meghan is the reason for this sudden shift to attacking his family now in a public forum. My take on it is that both of them are equally responsible. Now maybe she's a little more responsible because Harry was so sheltered in his little royal upbringing. I don't think he knew what hit him when he finally hooked up with her. But now the both of them just act like some spoiled, whiny little brats. What do you think about Harry's self-destruction and Meghan Markle's powerful support? Let us know your thoughts below in the comments section. We hope you have found this video helpful. Don't forget to leave a like, share, and subscribe to the channel if you enjoy it. Thank you so much for watching our news, and I will be back to see you all in the next videos. Bye-bye now.